Good morning, guys. Are you getting my voice? What about the screen? Okay, is the screen visible? Okay, very good. Okay, now today onwards we will see the basic things about some Java basic concept. Then we will go for our actual thing, big data. Now see, in the Java we have to see briefly. We have to recollect the collections framework. Okay, first of all we have to learn what is this Java collections. Do you have idea about this one Java collections? When we come to these Java collections, okay, in Java, collection framework contains lot of interfaces and classes, which helps in storing and accessing the data efficiently. Okay, to access the data and or to store the data efficiently, in Java language, there is a separate set of collection framework is available. In the collection framework, lot of interfaces and classes are available. By using those lot of interface collections, we can easily and we can efficiently store the data, or if you want to access the data, we can easily access the data. That means making modifications to the data, adding new elements, removing some elements. We can easily do, and we can store the data efficiently by using this lot of classes or interfaces available in the collection framework. And then if you take each interface or class in the collection framework, every class or interface contains a lot of methods are available. Predefined methods are available. So the programmer has to simply use those methods. We have no need to separately write the logic, entire logic for that one. We have to reuse that methods. Those classes will contain the predefined methods are available for every task. Simply we have to identify and we have to choose the best suitable method for our task, and we have to use that one. Okay, that is the thing. What is this Java collection framework means? The Java collection framework contains lot of interfaces and classes. Okay, by using those lot of interface and collections, we can easily access the data. We can easily store the data. Okay, the work can be done more efficiently. One main advantage is these classes contains lot of methods, predefined methods are available, so that we have no need to write the logic for doing something. Just we have to identify the suitable method and we have to use that method. For example, to insert the new element, some predefined method will be available. We have to identify that method. Simply we use that one. To remove some element, there is a method. We have to use that method only. Like that, for addition or deletion of elements, we have to use the predefined methods. Clear? Okay, before going to this one, what are these methods? I have a small question is, what is the difference between interface and class? Here we are using two words, interfaces and classes. So we have to recollect that one. What is the difference between interface and class? Can anyone give me the answer? Briefly, in one line, what is a class? What is an interface? In interface, methods are defined. It does contain body. What about the class? Anybody else? Class is implementation. Come to the interface. An interface contains purely abstract methods, whereas when we come to a class contains both the abstract methods and concrete methods. A class can contain the abstract methods and concrete methods. When we come to the interface, it purely contains the abstract methods. I think you have idea about the 2 points we have. We have seen the abstract classes and interfaces. What is an abstract class? An abstract class contains both concrete methods and abstract methods, whereas interface contains only abstract methods. What is this abstract method and what is this concrete method means? The method which is defined but not implemented is called abstract method. The method which is defined but not implemented. When we come to the concrete methods, the methods which are defined and implemented are known as the concrete methods. That means we have defined the method, we have written implemented the method. What is the task the method has to do? Then it is called the concrete method. The method which is defined but not implemented is known as the abstract method. Is it clear? Difference between the abstract method and concrete method. Guys, are you listening? For example, if you take this example, wide add, in, we are defining that method as well as we are implementing that one. What is the task of this add method? It has to take a is equal to 10, it has to take b is equal to 5, it has to add those a b, it has to display the value. So we defined the method as add method. The name of the method we defined is add without any return type, and it is implemented internally. What it has to do, we have defined. If the same method I have written like this, see, without defining that method, only I defined that method, implementation not given. I have defined name of the method is add, it has no return type, it has no parameters. Only I have defined the method, but I have not implemented what this add method has to do. Whether it is has to perform addition of two numbers or subtraction or multiplication or some other task. If addition, which values it has to take, we have not given anything. This is called the abstract method. This is called the concrete method. Concrete method. Okay. An interface contains only abstract methods. An interface always contains only abstract methods. When we come to the abstract classes, an abstract class can contain both concrete methods and abstract methods. Okay, that is the difference between the class and the interface. The interface contains only abstract methods, whereas the class contains the concrete methods. The ordinary classes contain concrete methods. The abstract class contains both concrete methods and the abstract methods, and interfaces contain only abstract methods. So 3 points are there: an ordinary class, abstract class, and interfaces. Interface contains only abstract methods. Abstract class contains both concrete methods and abstract methods, and ordinary classes will contain the normal concrete methods only. Okay, that is the thing. Now when we come back to our concept again, okay, Java collection is a collection framework, is a collection of lot of interfaces and classes for accessing the data more efficiently. Again, each class here contains lot of methods are there. So the programmer has less work if he are using Java collection framework. He has to separate, no need to write all the methods. Now when we come to the hierarchy of the hierarchy of the Java collection framework is like this. The blue colorly highlighted are the interfaces, whereas the green color highlighted are the classes. Clear? The super class is the basic super class in this collection framework is iterable interface. Okay, from that interface, again we have the collection interface. From that collection interface, again three subclasses are there. They are list, queue, set. Again, list has subclasses: array list, linked list, vector, stack. Similarly, it's this side queue. If you take the queue, also have the following sub: priority queue, DQ, array DQ. When we come to set, hash set, linked list set, sorted set, preset, like this. If we observe this hierarchy, these green are the interfaces, this blue are the classes. Next, the dotted lines indicate implements, the arrowheads implement extends. When we have to use extends, when we have to use implement keywords, can anybody answer me? When we have to use the implements, the dotted lines indicates the implements, arrowheads implement the. Can anybody give me the answer? When we have to use this extends? Yeah, exactly. Extends used with the class. When a class is getting properties of another class, we have to use extends. What about this implements? Exactly. When a class is getting properties of an interface, we have to use the implements. When a class is getting properties of another class, we have to use the extends. If you observe here, the array list class is getting properties of list, which is an interface. So here we are using extends. Between interface and class, we have to use the implements. Between two interfaces or between two classes, we have to use extends. If both are same, super class and subclass both are, if super and sub both are classes or both are interfaces, we use the extends. If the super is the interface and sub is the extends, we have to use the implements. See, priority queue is a class. It implements queue. Okay, DQ is an interface. It is extending the queue. Okay, if both are same, we are using extending. If interface and queue is a class, we are using the that one, that is implements. Okay, when we see this hierarchy, iterable is the super one. Next, the subclass sub one is the collection. It has three sub: list, queue, and set. And these are the basic things: stack, vector, linked list, array, DQ, priority queue. That is, those all belong to the queue types of queues. Again, when we come to the sets, we have tree set, sorted set, hash set, and linked hash set. This is the hierarchy of this one. Is it clear now? Briefly, what is this collection framework? Do you have a rough idea what is this collection framework? The aim of all these classes and interfaces in the collection framework is to access the data more efficiently, to store and access the data more efficiently. The only purpose of these is for data management only, in our language, simple language, for data management. Okay, to store, either to store the data or to access the data more efficiently. Predefined classes are available with predefined methods. Now, when we come to this one, the next one is the data structures. How can you define the data structures? Briefly, what is this concept of this data structure? We have already learned the subject of data structures, and you have seen the advanced data structures also. You have seen what is the main aim of this data structures concept. The data structures is the main thing is the defining of store data elements. Okay, the data structures will define how to store and access the data. That is in simple word, organization of data. Data structures indicates the organization of data. That means how the data is stored and how the data is accessed. Data, the main aim of data structures is organization of data. That means storing and accessing of the data efficiently. We are using the data structures in every application where data is there we want the data structures. In every application, wherever, whether it is WhatsApp, Facebook, online ticket booking, in every application, wherever we have data, there we want the data structures. The application of data structures is vast. In every area, we are using the data structures. Maybe whether they are stack or queue, linked list, whatever they are using, tree or graph, any type. Some data structure is required. Whenever we have data, some data structure is required to access, store the data and to access that data. Okay, data structures is a very, very most important one. Why? Because every application has a lot of data. Whenever data is there, some data structure is required for efficiently organizing that data. Clear? The data structures are mostly used regularly in our operating systems, compiler, design, artificial intelligence, graphics, and many more applications. We are using the data structures. Not only in these examples, OS, CD, or AI, or graphics, in any area where we have data, there we are implementing these data structures only. For example, if you take online ticket reservation, railway ticket reservation, or artist ticket reservation, there it will follow which application it will follow internally. Online ticket reservation, if you take which application it is following there, which data structure internally it is implementing, it is following the queue, first in, first out. Okay, whoever came first, basing on that one, the ticket will be allocated to that person only. Okay, simply that online ticket reservation is following the that one queues. Like that, in every area, we have the data structures. Whenever we have data, there the role of data structures is there. When we come to this data structures hierarchy, okay, when we come to this data structure hierarchy, the hierarchy is like this. We are dividing the data structures into two basic categories: primitive data structures, non-primitive data structures. What is this primitive data structure? Can anybody answer? What are these primitive data structures? We are classifying data structures into two categories: primitive and non-primitive. What is this first category of primitive data structures? Can you give example? You are saying as a predefined. In what that means? What are the examples? Yeah, exactly. Boolean, char, int. Okay. What are those? Basically, what we call them as, what are that? What is that? Int, char, float, Boolean. What is that one? Yeah, exactly. They are the basic data types. Primitive data structures are nothing but the primary data types or fundamental data types. In every language, we have the primary data types or fundamental data types are there. If you take C language, we have int, float, double, char, int, float, double, etc. When we go to the C++, we have the same thing. When we come to Java, primitive data types are there. What are the primitive data types available in Java? what are the primitive data structures? Since we are discussing data structures related to Java, what are the guys? Are you getting my voice clearly? Whether my voice is okay for you? Yeah, exactly. Basically, there are 8 primitive data types are available in Java. What are those? Byte, short, int, long. For integer category, we have 4: byte, short, int, long. And when we come to the decimal category, we have 2: float, double. For characters, we have char. And for boolean, we have boolean. Totally byte, short, int, long, next float, double, char, and boolean. So 8 primitive data types are available in Java. For integer, 4 are there: byte, short, long, int, and long. What is the default data type in case of integers in Java? What is the default one? The default one is the int. When we come to the float and double, what is the default one? Yeah, double is the default one in case of float and double. Okay, for the character type, we have only one char. So here one point we have to remember is, in case of Java, for character data type, only char is there. String is not data type in Java. String is a class. Okay, directly string data type is not available in Java. It is a class only. That is a small point we have to always remember. String is purely the class in Java. Clear. So when we come to the primitive data structures, they are the primary or fundamental data types. Every language has their fundamental data types are there. Clear. When we come to Java, we have 8 fundamental data types. That is the first category, primitive. When we come to the non-primitive data types or non-primitive data structures are there. They are again 2 types: linear and non-linear. What is this linear data structures means? Linear data structures means what is this category of linear data structures and non-linear data structures? Linear. Arrays are examples of linear data structures. I am asking you what is meant by this linear data structures means in what? Yeah, linear data structure means the elements arranged in particular order. Okay, the elements will be arranged in some particular order. Linear means in a sum. General meaning of linear is in a straight line we are arranging the elements. Similarly here, when you come to the linear data structure, the elements are arranged in some particular order. If you take a stack, we are arranging the elements in serial order, in particular order. Last in first out order we are following. Queue we are following some order like that. The elements are arranged in a particular order. It is called the linear data structures. Clear. When we come to the non-linear data structure, there is no particular order while we are storing the element. Okay, when we come to this one, linear, the elements are arranged in some particular order, whereas in case of non-linear, there is no particular order will be there. When we come to linear, again, there are 2 types: static and dynamic data structures are there. Examples for static is array. Examples for dynamic is linked list, stack, and queue. In Java, see, in Java, when we come to this arrays are following the static memory allocation. When we come to this linked list, stack, and queues, here they will follow the dynamic memory allocation. So separately, no need to allocate the memory in advance. Whereas for arrays, a size is, we have to provide the size in advance. Then only they will work. Okay. Here arrays will come to the category of static, and linked list class, stack class, or queue class belongs to this dynamic category. The array class belongs to this static category. And when we come to non-linear, we have trees and graphs are there. Okay, we will see them later. The trees and graphs. This is briefly the hierarchy of the data structures. In Java, we have the hierarchy of data structures is available like this: primitive, non-primitive, again linear, non-linear, again when we come to linear, static, dynamic, when we come to the non-linear, trees and graphs are available. Already we know these concepts very happily. We know what is array, we know linked list, we know stack, queue, trees, graphs. All these things we know previously. Just we are rewinding them. We are using them by using the Java classes, predefined Java collection framework classes. We are implementing those things. How to implement the linked list by using the linked list class of Java. How to implement stack by using stack class of Java. How to implement queue by using queue class of Java. We are implementing them by using those predefined classes. So when we write these programs using the predefined classes, our code will be very less. Why? Because we are not writing complete code. We are simply using the predefined method. Briefly, we have to see about that linked list, stacks, and queues. Clear. Why we are remaining all these things is our concept is the big data. That means we are dealing with data. So we have to know basic things about data, how the data is organized. That's why everything we have to recollect all these things. Now, when we come to this one, first one is the linked list. What is this linked list? Okay. I think all of you has the idea on this linked list. That means the elements are linked with one another. A linked list is a data structure for collecting a sequence of elements that allows efficient addition and removal of elements in the middle of the sequence. As we know, whatever the definition has given, what is this linked list? A linked list is a chain of elements in which each element is linked with its next element as well as the previous element. We are linking every element with its next element and previous element. Here, that particular element is called a node. Okay, we call it as a node, and in every node we have two items will be there in the node. One is data, the other one is the reference, that is link pointer to the next node. Okay, they will maintain the data as well as the reference links to the neighboring node. One link to the next node, one link to the previous node. We have the links. A linked list will be like this: Tom is one data, Diana is second one, Harry is three one. Three data are there. We are linking that one. So this is called a node. This particular one is called a node, second node, third node. And every node has three elements, 3 points are there, three items are there. One is data, Tom is the data. Okay, next they will contain the pointers will be there to indicate the next node and previous node. They have the pointers. If you take Diana, Diana is the data we have, and there is a pointer towards Harry, and also there is a pointer towards the back element, that is Tom. Okay, this is the briefly, this we know very well. This is the linked list representation. Clear. Whenever we want to add an element in the middle, simply we modify the pointers only. We have no need to touch the data. Simply we modify the link pointers. To add the new element, we need to modify the link pointers. To remove an element in the middle, we need to remodify the links only. We have to no need to touch the data. The data will not be touched. Only we will modify the pointers in case of linked list. Clear. That is briefly first thing is what is this linked list, which we know very well. Now, some of the applications of the linked list is in the image viewer, we are using the linked list. Okay, the image viewer applications are basically using the linked list only. Okay, so that when we click on the next, it will go to the next image. When we click the previous, it will go to the previous. The image viewer is internally following the linked list so that it can easily move from current image to either current image to either previous image or to the next image. That is from Diana, it can happily move to Harry or it can happily move to pointer. Internally they are using the linked list only. Okay, next also web browser. The web browsers are also using the linked list only. Internally they are maintained with the help. Internally they are implementing the linked list concept only, so that we can easily move from first page to next page, okay, or back pages. Internally we are implementing the linked list only. Okay, we are linking page 1 to page 2, page 2 to page 3, page 3 to page 4. When we are in page 3, we can by using the URL link, we can move to page 2 or we can move to page 4. From page 3, we can move to back to page 3 or we can move back to page 4 like that. The web browsers are also internally implementing linked list for page movements. Music players are using this linked list. Okay, from the starting to ending, they will go on serial songs will go. If you want to play the previous song, we'll come back. If you want to play the next song, they will go to new one. Like that. Whereas these are the some few examples of the linked list. Image viewer or web browsers are the music players. Now, up to this one, we know briefly what is this linked list, what are applications we know very well. Now we have to briefly see how to implement the linked list in Java by using linked list class. By using linked list class, we have to implement this concept of linked list. In Java, there is a predefined class called linked list class. Okay, which implements the double linked list to store the implement. The linked list class will use the double linked list concept to store the elements. I think you have the idea and difference between single linked list and double linked list. Single linked list means the element will be connected to next element only, whereas in case of double linked list, each element is connected to previous element as well as the next element. It is using two pointers. Okay, the Java linked list class uses this double linked list to store the elements. Okay, this linked list class implements two superclass interface, that is list and dequeue. As we already seen in the previous diagram, the linked list is implementing dequeue as well as it is implementing the list. Okay, it is getting the property abstract methods from list class as well as it is getting the abstract methods from dequeue internally. It is implementing the methods of list. It is implementing the methods of dequeue. Some important points about the Java linked list class is, okay, the Java linked list class can accept duplicate elements. The Java linked list class maintains the insertion order. Okay, the order of insertion of the elements. Okay, the Java linked list class will help in manipulation of data very fastly. That means the adding of new elements, removal of the old elements, removing or adding of elements can be done fastly. Why? Because we no need to shift the data. Only we have to shift the links only. The advantage of this linked list is how it is manipulating fastly means the same thing is it is adding the element, it is only changing the links instead of changing the data. So the manipulation is fast by using this linked list class. Next, by using this Java linked list class, we can implement the stacks and queues and lists also. List means nothing but this linked list. We can implement by using the linked list class, we can implement the lists, we can implement the stack, we can implement the queues. Clear? By using these linked list class, we can implement, if you want you can implement single linked list, if you want you can implement double linked list, or if you want you can implement the queues, or if you want you can implement the stacks with the help of this linked list class which is available in that one. See this one, what are the some important methods available in this one linked list class. If you observe the first one, this is a syntax for creating the linked list. An empty linked list will be created by this syntax linked list parameter. Okay, parameter here in this example I have given string linked list string. Next one is the name of that list. What is the name you want to give for that linked list? This in this example he given list as the name. If you want to give whatever the name you want to give for that linked list, you can give this list is the name linked list string. List is equal to new linked list of string. Clear? That means we are creating a linked list to store the strings. Here, what is the data type we have given? The data type we are giving here is the string. The parameters belongs to the strings. That means we are creating a linked list which can store a list of strings. Clear? We are creating an empty list which can store a list of strings. And other methods available are some important other methods are list name dot add last. We can add the string at the last of the linked list. Add first, we can add the element at the first of the linked list. If you are using add last, directly the new element will be added at the end of the linked list. If you are using add first, directly the element will be added at the beginning of the linked list. If you want to know the first element, we use get first method. If you want to know the last element, we can use last method. Okay, if you want to remove the last element, remove the first element. If you want to remove the first element, the syntax is remove first method is available. If you want to remove the last element, we have remove last. Clear. We have the methods available, are some important methods are there. Similarly, we have remove method is there. One more method remove is there. Remove of index. If you provide the index of that list element, the whatever the element at that index, that element will be removed directly. Remove first, remove last, remove with index, so that the element at that particular index will be removed. Similarly, if you want to add the element, we have the add first, add last, and one more method is there, add method. In this table, it was missed, but add method is there. The duty of this list dot add of element. If you are in our example, we will see that one. If you are using directly add method, sequentially it will add all the elements. If you are using add last, directly the element will be added at the last. If you are using add first, directly the element will be added at the beginning. Similarly, to know the first and last elements, we have method. To remove, we have the methods. These are the few my example methods. A lot of methods are available to do many operations. If you open that in Google, you will see a lot of methods are there. I am giving you the some few methods which we are using here. Clear. Next one is by you by using these first syntax, we are able to create the linked list. Clear. We are able to create the linked list and we are able to add elements to the linked list. We are able to add the elements to the linked list in sequential order. Next, we have another concept called list iterator is there. List iterator. What is this list iterator? What is the meaning of an iterator? What is meant by iteration? Generally, we know iteration. Repeating process work as somewhat. Similarly, here iteration means generally if you are taking iteration means loops we are calling as iteration. That means we are repeating, doing the same thing. That means revolving around the same thing. Here we can say iterator as a concept of we are moving from the list freely from first to last, last to first. We can iterator by use the help of these list iterators.